So this is the transfer student Q&A panel. All of us are transfer students. My name is Carter. I'm a student orientation coordinator.
My name is Sinjin. I'm an orientation leader. Sorry, Raven.
Okay. My name is Raven. I'm an orientation leader.
Cool. So we're just going to tell you a little bit about our experience as transfer students, what it was like transferring. And then if you have any questions, you can just go ahead, put them in the chat, or ask them out loud when we're done talking. And then, yeah, that'll be it. So I transferred here in 2018, so I'm going into my third year here at Lamar. I transferred from the University of New Mexico, so it was a really big move for me. I didn't know anybody here. I toured the campus once in June after I already applied and got in, and I was like, well, if I hate it, I guess I'm already stuck here, so we'll just see how it goes. But I transferred because the university that I was going to before didn't have the major that I wanted to switch to, and Lamar did, but it was super affordable. So I decided, even though it was a super big move, I should kind of give it a chance anyways. And I think it's one of the best choices I've ever made. I really love Lamar and all the opportunities that I've gotten from being here and being a part of the community.
So I guess I'll go next based on the rounds of introductions. So again, my name is Sinjin Sharma. I actually attended the University of Texas at Austin for 2 years before I transferred to Lamar, and I've been at Lamar 2 years. The reason for my transfer was I was originally a biomedical engineer at UT Austin, found out I didn't like that, and when I asked to switch majors, they kindly told me I was too far along in the degree plan and they didn't want me switching majors, and that if I had to switch majors, I would have to transfer to a different university, which is what I did. I actually applied and got accepted to Lamar sight unseen. I'd never been to the campus. I had one friend who went here, and I didn't know how I was going to go. Now, 2 years later, I'm really happy. Lamar has a great engineering program, and I think the switch was definitely for the better.
So this guy just started blowing mulch. So I don't know how well y'all can hear me.
More or less.
Okay. Well, my name is Raven Dennis. I'm here as a senior studying mathematics with a minor in business. I am a special case of transfer student. I graduated high school with my associate's degree. So I am here for the third year of Lamar, so which makes me a senior. But it was pretty easy to transfer, especially going to Week of Welcome, where Lamar had a whole bunch of events that I can meet up with people and make new friends, even though technically I'm a senior, so I don't have any friends that I am going to classes with. But I did get to meet people of my own age and everything.
Yeah. Another way that I found was really easy to get involved was my advisor was really great and suggested that I join the CC, which is usually a thing that they encourage freshmen to do. But since I was also just a new student at Lamar, it was like a free class of sorts that I could go to meet other people with the same interests as me with my major. So that was really, really helpful to just immediately meet people that I would know that I would have connections with for the rest of my university experience. Yeah, Week of Welcome is another really good way to meet new people. So if you haven't done it, or if, like, you're not sure if you want to go to the events, definitely do. Also, I didn't go to orientation because it's optional for transfer students, but I thought I kind of feel like I missed out because a lot of people go to Week of Welcome events with people that they met at orientation. So I felt like I was just like, cool, I don't know what's going on because I didn't go to orientation, so I don't know anybody, so I don't want to go to these events. So definitely go to orientation on the 1st. It'll help you make some new friends, get you connected. Yeah. Anybody have anything else to say?
I guess I can jump in real quick. Again, I only knew one person coming to Lamar, and one of the ways that I actually met people was, again, like Carter said, orientation. Actually, one of the orientation leaders when I was there was a friend of my friend, and so I got to know him throughout orientation, and we're actually roommates now for the second year. So that's pretty cool. Another good way to get to know people is just talk to people in your classes. I know a lot of people in my engineering classes, and they're great guys, great gals. They're all super smart and they're all really nice. So just talk to people in your classes, talk to people around you. If you're living on campus, talk to the people who live around you, and you'll get to know great people in no time.
And before we get to if you guys have any questions, I also want to mention something new that was only started last semester, and it's called Fresh Feathers. It's the Transfer Student Association, started by, it's like kind of grouped in by the Office of New Student Leadership Programs, which is also who puts on orientation. So they do one program a month usually, and they've done things like ice cream social with a trivia night. They did a thing for Transfer Student Appreciation Week where they gave out popcorn to transfer students. They are doing a transfer student swag swap during the week of welcome. So you just bring a shirt from your old university and they give you a free Lamar shirt. So that way you can rep your new university. It's called, I don't remember if I already said it. It's called Fresh Feathers. It's really cool. It's new. So the more people who get involved with it now, the better. And we have current transfer students who are involved, kind of like peer mentors who are just there to help if you have any other questions throughout the year, to just be able to be like, hey, who is my advisor? Or like, am I supposed to email them to get my class schedule, or do they email me to schedule a time? Stuff like that, to kind of help you with the ins and outs of Lamar. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for them. Follow LU Leadership, LU_leadership on social media, because they post about all the different things that Fresh Feather is doing. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. So it depends on how far along you are in your degree plan, I guess, for if you get to pick your classes. The way that it works for me with my advisor is, at Lamar, you have to go see your advisor every semester. So you just set up a meeting with them and they're like, cool, this is what's left of your degree plan. And it kind of just depends on like how flexible it is and how many like major specific electives you have, I guess, for which classes you can pick. Some majors are a lot more strict where it's like, no, you have to take, fluids too, and this, and then this, and then this. But there's other ones where it's like, oh no, you could take this advocacy or this psychology or this. So it really just depends. But from my experience and from what I've heard from a lot of students is that advisors are way, way, way super, super willing to work with you and figure out the best time for you to take the classes and the best degree plan and stuff like that. So it all just comes down to talking to your advisor and figuring out what's best for you.
If you guys don't mind me asking, do you guys know what majors you guys are transferring into? That way we might be able to give you like specific tips based on the major. So like if you're transferring into engineering, it's going to be a little bit different than transferring into biology or the School of Business or something like that. You guys can or you guys can't. It's just like there's things going into the engineering school I wish I knew, but if nobody hears engineering, there's no use in me getting into that.
St. John, if you want, you can talk about that like either way.
Okay, I was just gonna like mention stuff about co-ops and kind of how that works, and uh, I mean, so specifically for the engineering program, you start out as a provisional student, I believe. So you're not a full-on engineering student until after about your sophomore level of classes, your sophomore year. Um, and before that, you're going to meet with a kind of a general advisor. They are still an engineering advisor. However, they advise a much wider range of students. Once you get past your sophomore year and into your junior year, then you get advised specifically by your school of engineering. So I'm basically at a junior level right now. because when I transferred, I lost a year, and then I ended up doing a co-op, which lost me another year. So let's not talk about how old I'm going to be when I graduate. But anyways, and so basically, depending on where you are in that degree plan, depends on who you're going to get advised for and what classes you're going to be taking. So before junior year and your freshman and sophomore years, you're going to have more flexibility with your classes and kind of more basic classes and when you can take them than your junior or senior year. Because junior or senior year, you have set classes you need to take. You have to hit these prerequisites, and you go on from there. And I believe it's like that with a few of the other majors. Don't quote me on this, but I've heard from nursing majors it's similar. And I know from some of the other STEM majors, like some of the science majors and stuff like that, it's similar. But like Carter said, some might be more free-flowing than others. Like I said, I don't know specifics about stuff outside of engineering, but at least for engineering, it's specific and strict for later years. In the beginning, you have more flexibility. So Trey, what engineering majors or programs do you recommend? So this is kind of something that I like to say I kind of know about because of my time in an engineering major I did not enjoy, which caused my transfer to Lamar. It depends upon who you are and what you like. I'm a mechanical engineer because I kind of like the hands-on aspect. I kind of like, messing with stuff hands-on. In mainly the way you're going to get that in school is either by taking co-ops or on your senior year, you have a big project called a senior design project, and all of the engineering majors are going to have a senior design project. Just what that senior design project is going to be different based on your major. But I say it depends upon you and what you like. So if you're really into the electronic side, electrical engineer is for you. Me personally, I'm a pretty dang bad at electrical stuff. You have to take parts of electrical engineering in, at least for mechanical engineering. Physics 2 has some electrical engineering in it. And then there's a class that you have to take called Fundamentals of Electrical Engineering. And I personally wasn't great at that class. I mean, I did fine in it because I studied and stuff, but it did not come naturally to me. Same thing with chemistry and chemical engineering. That is not my thing. However, if you put me in a statics or dynamics class, I do better than I would in a chemical engineering class or an electrical engineering class. So it depends upon you and what you like to do and kind of what your personality is suited towards. If you're good at chemistry and you're good at, doing that really deep analysis, chemical engineering might be for you. If you're really into the electrical side of stuff and that's what you want to go into, electrical engineering. If you're kind of in the middle or you like a whole bunch of stuff, mechanical engineering is a pretty broad discipline. And it has to do with, of course, more forces, more physics related in terms of statics, dynamics, fluid mechanics, stuff like that. Civil engineering is, of course, infrastructure type stuff. So if you want to work on buildings, if you want to work on roads, I have a friend who graduated who's actually working on a 20-mile stretch of road outside in San Antonio and repairing that. Or I have a friend in electrical engineering who got hired on by Lockheed Martin, and he's currently working on the F-35 fighter or attacker jets or whatever their classification is. But based on what you want to do is what discipline you're going to go into. At Lamar, all of the schools of engineering are really good from what I've heard. I can say firsthand, I love the School of Mechanical Engineering. I have a bunch of friends in chemical engineering that do incredibly well. I mean, they go on to do great things. I obviously have my friends in civil and electrical who have gone on and gotten good jobs. So I wouldn't worry so much about, what's a good engineering school at Lamar or engineering discipline. They're all pretty dang good. It just depends upon what you want to do. I'm sorry, that was a really long-winded answer, but it's going to be personalized to you.
Yeah, that was great. It was a really good answer, Sinjin. Also, kind of looping back to what you had said at the beginning about when you're getting advised by who. I'm pretty sure it's like that for everyone, which is kind of nice. So your first 2 years, you get advised by the Undergraduate Advising Center. And like Sinjin said, they are like still engineering or sign language or psychology, but they do deal with like a much broader scope of students. And then after your sophomore year is when you get advised by somebody in your college, which is great because when you get up to those higher level classes, it's a lot nicer to have somebody who works within the department and knows exactly what they're talking about. Not that our undergraduate advising center doesn't, because they're also fantastic, but it is nice for when you're in like your junior year for them to be like, oh yeah, if you're not really into this class is similar and it can get the same thing done. And so I could just switch it out right now for your credits and stuff like that. My advisor did that for me, and it really helped because I also took 2 classes with her during the semester. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to put you in this class. And then she was the one teaching it. So it was really nice to be able to have that deeper connection too. So that way she knew what my focus was and then also could see how I performed as a student. So that way that could help her better advise me later, which I think is just something that I really appreciate at Lamar. I know I did not get that kind of experience at my other university. Yeah, so that was great. Good job, Cindy. Do you guys have any other questions?
Let me just jump in one more time, just to say if you are unsure of your major, if you guys have had a advisor contact you, you can always email your advisor, and I'm sure they'd be happy to help you figure out kind of what you might enjoy or what discipline you might want to go into. I mean, our advisors they're really good. I mean, they know their stuff. They have to know, of course, engineering advisors know engineering, the nursing majors know nursing, or the nursing advisors. So if you're unsure, go ahead and shoot your advisor an email and say, hey, I know I want to go into engineering, or I know when I want to go into, a STEM discipline, or I know I want to go into English, but I don't know what exact division I want to go into. And I'm sure they'd be happy to, send you a list and say, okay, so here's this. Here's what here's what these majors entail, and you can go from there.
Yeah, and just to jump back on St. John, I know for me, my experience, since I did transfer from out of state and I was living in New Mexico basically until the week of move-in for Lamar, I went on my tour and then I had to email my advisor. So he was like my undergraduate advisor and he was awesome. He emailed me back right away and then gave me a bunch of different options to do a phone advising session because he obviously understood that I couldn't come in person. And then we were on the phone, I think, for probably like an hour with him just explaining how Lamar worked and giving me a better overview of how to register for my classes and what classes I should take now and later. And a lot of stuff that really, I feel, helped me prepare a lot better for just coming to Lamar. Like after my phone call with him, I felt really, really great about my choice, which was really nice because I was worried that I was going to get to the whole point of registering for classes and then be like, cool, this was a mistake. But I wasn't. I felt even more secure in choosing Lamar, which is awesome. So yeah. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, then we can go ahead and, oh, okay. So, okay, so we got 2 questions in the chat. One of them was about the residence halls. So I lived in the residence halls for my first 2 years at Lamar, and I really thought they were great. Trey asked because of COVID, they're nervous, so how are the res halls? And I think they're great. It's nice because they're more suite style. So you have your own room and then like a shared living room and bathroom, and then your roommate has their own room. So if you are super nervous about COVID and stuff, that's just something that I would suggest talking to your roommate about and just being like, hey, can you just make sure that every time you come back in, we're both like washing our hands and disinfecting this and disinfecting that. And then as for like the lobbies and stuff in the res halls, we have staff who cleans it every single day and they're all super, super nice. And the security stuff, like it's all just, you touch it with your ID card. So you don't even actually have to touch the door to open it because it's an automatic door that opens when you touch your ID card. So there's kind of stuff that's, I guess, already in place that would make me feel safer to COVID-19. So I think it'll be okay. And then the second question from Khan was, can I change to another advisor or do I need to stick with the person for the whole semester? From my experience, you stick with them for the whole semester. Does anybody have another answer?
I usually would stick with the same advisor just because if you keep switching them, you lose that one-on-one actually getting to know your advisor. So unless you're switching majors, you may have to switch advisors, but usually you don't have to. Also, whenever you stick with the same advisor, I could talk to my advisor about all of the classes I'm going to take for that entire year because there's only certain spots you can take certain classes. And so it's easier to do it that way and just set up what classes you're going to take the entire year than just to go semester by semester and just keep switching people.
I think it also depends on your major, because some majors might have more advisors available, but some might not. So it just depends on how your major works. So I would, like Raven said, just suggest sticking with the same advisor because they kind of already know you and they know what they recommended for you last semester. So they know what to recommend for you this semester, especially like Raven was saying with like semester specific classes. It's one of those things where if you have a spring only class, but you don't decide to take it that spring, but it's a prereq for a fall class, they know that it might put you behind, so they can kind of get you prepared for that in the fall, as opposed to getting a new advisor for the spring and then them not knowing that you haven't had that conversation and don't know and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely would recommend sticking with the same advisor for as long as possible. Any other questions?
Good questions, by the way. Quality questions.
Yes, very good questions.
One
Okay.
last thing I will jump in with. You guys are probably tired of hearing my voice by now, but anyways, so we're gonna be, if you guys come to the transfer orientation session, we'll be part of it. I don't know if we'll be directly interacting with you guys, but you'll be interacting with one of the orientation leaders. If you guys see us just in orientation or just on campus, we're going to be around a lot during that first week of welcome. And of course, we're going to be around campus after that. If you guys have a question, let one of us know. We'll be happy to help. Even if it's, like I said, that first week of school, or even if it's 2 or 3 weeks in, you're like, hey, I'm still having trouble with this. And you just happen to see us, walking to class or eating in the dining hall or something like that. Feel free to stop us and ask us anything. We're here to help you guys, and we've kind of been through it before. So hopefully we can help you guys so it's easier for you guys than it was for us. Not that it was too terribly hard or anything, but if there's any advice that you need or any questions or problems you might be having, feel free to reach out to us and let us know.
That was very well said. Good job, Cindy. And good job, Raven. And good job, both of you. Okay, so that is it for this Q&A. If you do have more questions, you can, again, contact us on social media, Lamar_leadership. No, just kidding. LU_leadership. That's on, oh, just kidding. Trey has another question. Maybe. They said wait. What's the schedule for what? Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So Trey asked for classes, are they short or long? So if you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, it's 55 minutes. So it'd usually be from like 9 to 9:55. And then if you have a Tuesday, Thursday class, I think it's an hour 15. So 9 to 10:15. And then it's the same for if you have a Monday, Wednesday class, it's the same of like an hour and 15, or it's an hour and 20. And then if you have like class that's only 1 day a week, it's usually 3 hours. And then labs are also usually longer. But if you're not sure about your schedule, If you go to your self-service banner, if you've already registered for classes, your self-service banner can give you a concise student schedule, and you can see that, and then that definitely helps planning stuff out. And then Con asked, should we wait until the semester starts to buy books or buy books now? I usually suggest waiting until the semester starts because some teachers, some professors don't have required textbooks that like the course says it's required, but the professor doesn't use it, or they have instead where they just print PDFs off for you. So I would just suggest waiting, but also if you want to be proactive, you can go to the website of our bookstore and then type in your classes, and it can tell you which ones you need so that way you can find all of them. That way, as soon as you know that your professor does use them, you already know what you're looking for, and then you can just go ahead and get them. Okay, cool. And then Trey asked if we have a rec center. Yes, we do. It is right by the Student Setzer Center. All you need is your ID to like swipe in. They have a dress code, so just make sure that you know what that is. And their hours are posted online. If you just like Google Lamar University Rec Center, it should come up. It's really good. I really appreciate the rec center. They have a weight section. They have a track. They have basketball courts. They have an all-purpose area. They have a place for volleyball. They have a place with like soccer. They have also free classes that you can take, like Zumba or soul cycling or kickboxing and stuff like that. So that it might look a little different where they have like certain capacities because of COVID, but it'll still be open and available for students to use. So yes, we do indeed have a rec center.
We have an indoor pool too. I don't know if that matters, but just had to plug that.
Sure. We also have an outdoor pool. It's located between Morris and Gentry, and all you need for that is your res card, which you get when you move in. Any other questions? Okay, for how do we know if you need the access code? Usually I've noticed my professors just tell me it's in the syllabus, or they'll say like, oh, we use like Pearson's book. You can go ahead and buy the access code from here. I know for like my ASL class, I just had to go to the website that they used, and then that was it. So I guess it just depends on the class, but usually the professor tells you if you need to buy an access code or not. Okay, Trey asked, how do you log into your account without messing up? Can you specify what you mean by that? Okay. For Trey's question of how do you log in? Oh, how do you type in your username and password correctly? I don't know. I guess I cheat because I let my computer remember my passwords. So I just set it up once and then let the computer handle the rest. But it's nice because everything is connected. So for your like LEA username, which is the beginning part of your email, whatever password you decide for that is how you get into your email, your Blackboard, your basically anything other than self-serve. And then self-serve is your Lamar ID number, and then like a PIN. So yeah, but then if you ever do mess up, our IT is always available to help you. They're really great. I had to call them a couple weeks ago because I forgot one of the security questions for resetting my password, and they went in and helped me. It was awesome. So if someone else wants to answer Com's question about the Setzer Student Center.
I was going to let Raven take it, but I guess I can cut it. So the Setzer Student Center is kind of, I'd argue it's the main focal point on campus, and it is, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It has, here, let me tell you what it has, and then maybe we can kind of figure it out from there. It has a big ballroom that we hold events in. So I know the very first week of school, we have like a success conference in there. I know that we have events going on in there. Like last year, we had a hypnotist come in and they had rows set up. Sometimes they do events. Like I know one year they had bumper cars in there. And then we have like a casino night, not with real money. It's with like tickets and stuff like that. But we have that for the first week of welcome. Also in the Student Setzer Center, there's kind of like a food court. So we have a Chick-fil-A, we have a Panda Express, we have a Jason's Deli. There are a lot of different conference rooms in there as well. So a lot of different student organizations will meet in the Setzer Center as well. So for example, I'm part of a volunteer organization, and we'll have our meetings, our monthly meetings in the Student Setzer Center. That's where the NSLP head office is located. That's where the Student Body President's office is located. Carter, what other offices are in there?
That's also where the Office of Student Engagement is. So if you ever have a meeting with like the Dean of Students, that's where you would go. Also, we have an org room. So if you're ever in any org, there's a workroom that you can go into, so that way you can decorate your posters in there and stuff like that. That's also where I had mentioned like student engagement. There's another student engagement office for if you're ever in Greek life, the person who runs Greek life is in there. Stuff like that. Setzer Student Center, definitely I would say is like the main focal point. There's a bunch of tables, a bunch of study rooms that you can reserve during finals week. We have a game room that has a TV, so all you need to bring is your console, and then you can play games. That's, like St. John said, where a lot of the free events on campus are hosted. Things like bake sales from different orgs, or week of welcome events, stuff like that. It's usually all around the Setzer Student Center. Also, just go get some lunch. Classic. It's so where it is it's like right here, and then I know that doesn't help, but there's a big parking lot, and then it's like basically right in the middle of where all of the classes for your buildings are. So it's just on the left, there's like the humanities buildings where you have like your history classes and stuff like that. And then there's the engineering buildings to the right of it and stuff. It's right next to, or it's very near the library. It's connected to the bookstore. It's right next to the rec center. So yeah, if you're ever hanging out in the Setzer Student Center, you're gonna see hundreds of students at least walking through it, if not hanging out.
I was looking for a one kind of sentence answer to kind of answer your
Basically, go off
question.
what you and St. John said.
Go Raven, go.
Oh, I think she's cutting out.
Oh shoot, I think I froze her. Anyways, the one sentence I was going to go for is it's kind of the central hub for student life.
That's a good one.
The stuff
Okay.
that I would do there is visit my friend. My friends would all meet up after class and we'd get Chick-fil-A and eat together. Or we'd see there's an event there for the afternoon, so we all meet up and go to the event. That's kind of what it's for. I don't believe there are any classes or anything held in there. It is literally
Well,
just for kind of student life and student events.
There will be classes held there because of COVID. So the ballroom is also being turned into like a classroom, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But that announcement will come out later, I believe.
Okay, my mistake. But when you get to campus, you'll kind of see what it's all about. It's a little hard to describe, but I mean, you'll be in there from time to time. I'll be incredibly impressed if you avoid it and don't interact with it at some point within the first couple weeks. So
Definitely. Raven, what were you gonna say? You like it cut out.
Basically, it's made for the students to hang out, to study, to have fun. It's basically the hangout spot for students to eat and get together.
Yep. Cool. Any other questions? Okay, where can you go to get the student ID card? That is in the Wimberley building, or you should have also possibly gotten sent a link in your email about setting it up, like how to do it through the online. Sorry, that sounded weird. But yes.
Question, Carter.
Yes.
Do they get that when they go to orientation, or have y'all sent it to everyone already?
That is a good question.
Because I remember you all said you put the link when they get to orientation. So they may have not gotten the link yet.
Okay, so you should get a link sometime this week then, when you get sent your link to orientation, with like instructions on how to set up your ID, and then it should get sent to you. So you don't have to pick it up on campus, which I think makes it much, much easier. So yes, I hope that answered your question. There's a way to do it online now that you should get instructions for soon if you haven't already. And then if you do decide to just wait until you come to campus, it's set up in the Wimberley building for where you can go get your picture taken, and then they'll get your ID card all set up for you. Okay, any other questions?
and again, just real quick, you guys are giving really good questions. Just anything you have, let us know. Like we don't want you guys to walk away with wondering anything. And I know being a transfer student, it can be a little bit different than coming in as freshmen, because you get a lot of information coming in as freshmen. When you're a transfer student, you know, some people expect you to know things, but
Okay. Well, maybe while you guys think of more questions, I'm going to give my little spiel just in case you don't have any more. So, again, thank you so much for coming. Are there any events? Trey asked. Are there any events? There are thousands of events. I would say there's at least one event a week. Honestly, Week of Welcome is full of events that are all free. They have things like St. John mentioned, the casino night. There's also a Greek life barbecue. There's also late night at the set, things like that. There's first year games, which you will learn more about when you go to orientation on Saturday. Stuff like that. There's like that week is jam packed full of events, and it is awesome. And then throughout the semester, we have this thing called the Cardinals Activity Board. And so they put on free events for the students. It's also run by the students. So they usually are obviously very in tune with what students want. They also, I know last semester when COVID happened, they took it, ran with it, and they made a lot of really cool virtual events. They did things like a Netflix watch party or like games and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of events on campus at honestly probably any given point. The best way to know what events are going on would be to follow us on social media, because we repost a lot of this stuff, or we talk about the stuff that we throw, and then also to follow LU Cab on social media, because they're probably one of the bigger or the biggest ones that throw events. And that's like social events and also academic events. Like Sinja mentioned, there's the Academic Success Conference and there's a leadership conference and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of events.
Also, sporting events, if you're into that. They're probably going to look a little bit different because, again, COVID, everybody's probably going to be spread out in the stands. But I went to all the home football games last year, and it was really fun. Our poor guys got beat up, and we were pretty dang injured last year. But they're always fun to go to. There's the tailgate that you can go to get free food and stuff. So even if you're not into the sporting events, go to the tailgates and get free food and go back to your dorm and maybe watch it online or do whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff going on. Sporting events, student events. Pay attention to the Instagram, I believe, and most of the stuff should be posted there.
Yes. And then also this semester, there's going to be events specifically for transfer students, like I was saying before. Anybody's welcome, but it is going to be targeted towards transfer students like yourselves. Things like a Lamar Trivia Night or transfer student appreciation stuff, things like that, just to show you guys that we appreciate you and that, we're here to listen to your concerns, questions, things like that to really help your adjustment into Lamar campus life. So if you guys have no other questions, again, follow us on social media. Raven posted our email, which is nslp@lamar.edu, in the chat. Also, our social medias, all of them are LU_leadership, which that is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I believe is just New Student Leadership Programs. We're on TikTok now. So yeah, follow us for more information. And then also, hopefully, you decide to come to orientation on Saturday, where you can meet even more OLs, have maybe some more of your questions answered. You can also meet other transfer students, which I think is going to be really fun. They'll talk about things like first year games, stuff like that. And then if after that you do have more questions, we actually have another Q&A panel on August 3rd. So if you get off this call and you're like, oh, dang it, I forgot to ask, and then you go to orientation and you forget to ask again, because I do that all the time. We do have another Q&A coming up, so that way you can ask even more questions. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming.
Carter, quick question.
Super appreciate it. Yes.
Are they going to get to meet with advisors during the transfer orientation session? No. No,
it's probably going to look a little different. You're going to talk with we have a transfer student specialist, and she's going to talk to you, and then I'm probably going to talk for a little bit, and then you'll get to meet orientation leaders, and then yes, yeah, August 1st, 10 a.m.
So hopefully we'll see you guys there.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming.
Have a good day, guys, and hopefully we'll see you guys at orientation.
And